A feast during the plague. Fortunately, we don't have to suffer from the disease that wiped out nearly half of Europe's population in the 14th century. I'm talking about the Black Death, or bubonic plague, caused by the plague bacterium. The disease spread through fleas on rodents. And although today it can be treated with antibiotics, it still spreads quickly, is incredibly unpleasant, deadly, and highly contagious. Over the years, people have learned that one of the best ways to avoid the terrible boils and gangrene is to simply stay away from wild rodents. But apparently, one Mongolian couple didn't know this in May 2019. And the stupidity of these two knew no bounds. For some unknown reason, they ate the raw liver of a marmot. It turns out they believed that eating the meat would improve their health. However, that liver brought them the bubonic plague. Both Mongolians died, and as a result, a 6-day quarantine was imposed on locals and tourists who had come into contact with them. Well, I guess they learned the hard way that some things are best left on the do not eat list. Raw marmot liver? Definitely not on my menu. To the dump. It's hard to imagine anyone loving the task of taking out the trash, but usually people aren't hauled away with the garbage itself, let's be honest. However, for Diego Mata, a combination of extreme drunkenness and a dive into a dumpster led to exactly that. In March 2019, surveillance cameras in Rosemont, Illinois, captured 31-year-old Diego, intoxicated, climbing into a dumpster at around 4 a.m. About an hour later, the garbage truck arrived and tipped the contents of the dumpster, including Diego, into its mechanical jaws. His body was later retrieved at the sorting facility, where it was found crushed to death. A tragic but strangely fitting end to someone who had taken wasted to a whole new level. Well, let's just say he really took out the trash, in the most extreme way possible. Guess he got too recycled for this world. Fast food. Everyone knows that an abundance of fast food is harmful, but in his final moments on Earth, Charles Wood Jr. from Weldon City, Missouri, learned the hidden dangers of drive-through restaurants. Wood had ordered food from a local Jack in the Box and pulled up to the pickup window, leaning out of his car to grab his meal. Realizing he was too far to reach the employee, he opened the car door and leaned out to get his order. But in doing so, he accidentally placed his foot on the gas pedal. With the car in reverse, it rolled back and crashed into a tree. Wood became trapped between the tree and the car and later died from his injuries. Well, Charles sure learned the hard way that sometimes the drive-through experience is more drive than through, and definitely not a good way to go. Deadly dangerous. Tina Christofferson was an incredibly intelligent woman, with an IQ of 189. Unfortunately, irrational fears are not uncommon, even among geniuses, and in Tina's case, her fear of stomach cancer ultimately led to her death. Having witnessed her mother suffer and die from cancer, Tina became obsessed with avoiding the same fate. She believed that fasting periodically, only drinking water, would protect her from stomach cancer. During these fasting periods, she would consume up to 4 gallons of water a day. Due to the intense strain on her body, Tina's kidneys failed, causing water to enter her lungs, even though she was on dry land. As a result, she essentially drowned from the excess water in her lungs. Sometimes too much of a good thing really is. Too much. Maybe next time, just stick to a balanced diet and a little less water. Bad trip. One day in September 1927, Franco-American dancer Isadora Duncan was getting ready for a ride in a friend's car. Before leaving, her friend asked her to put on a shawl, as the car was a convertible and the wind could be strong on the road. Isadora decided that a stylish scarf would be enough. She wrapped the long silk accessory around her neck and got into the car. The driver began to pull away, and Isadora gave her friends what seemed like a final goodbye. But, to the horror of her onlooking friends, the scarf suddenly flapped in the wind and caught on the edge of the car door. It then got tangled around the spinning wheel spokes and began to pull Isadora toward it, shortening with each second. She was dragged out of the car and onto the road, where the wheels ran over her and broke her neck. She ended up trapped between the wheel and the car's body. Well, it turns out that style can be dangerous, especially when it's around your neck. Maybe next time, skip the scarf and just go with a windbreaker. Swimming. It seems logical that if you don't know how to swim, you should learn first and only then dive into water sports. Unfortunately, Jerry DeVice didn't think so. In July 2019, after purchasing a jet ski just hours earlier, Jerry was ready for a good time. But there was just one little problem. He didn't know how to swim. So, when he lost control and flipped over, he found himself in serious danger. Within moments, the sea swallowed him up, and Jerry tragically passed away. Well, looks like Jerry took the phrases ink or swim a bit too literally, and the sea definitely didn't have his back. Write what you think about these stories. Do you know of any other similar situations? Like and subscribe. See you in the next video.